Mother-in-law has been in charge of organizing the family Christmas dinner for 14 years. She decides where everyone sits. My 3 kids always end up at the kids' table, set up in the basement. Meanwhile, my sister-in-law's children sit at the main table. According to her, they know how to behave better. At first I let it go, but this year my oldest daughter, who's 9, asked me, why does grandma like the cousins more than us? On December 24th, it was 2 in the afternoon. Dinner was supposed to start at 4. I grabbed my phone and bought 5 tickets to Cancun. When my mother-in-law called, she asked where we were. I sent her a picture of my kids laughing on the beach. She said, "You ruined our Christmas." I calmly replied, "I didn't ruin anything. I just made sure my kids had a happy Christmas." Every year, my mother-in-law turns Christmas into a performance. She chooses the menu, the music, the seating, even the color of our sweaters. No one questions her, not even my husband. He says, "It's just how she is. Let's not start a fight." But I started noticing things that made my stomach twist. Her tone when she spoke to my kids, the way she smiled wider at my sister-in-law's children, how she always said things like, "Emily's so polite," or "Liam's going to be a doctor one day." Then she'd turn to my son and say, "Maybe you'll calm down next year." At first, I thought I was being sensitive. Maybe she didn't mean it that way. Maybe I was imagining the difference. But it kept happening. Every Christmas, every birthday, every family gathering, and every single year she made sure my kids sat at the little folding table in the basement, the kids' table. The first time it was cute. The second time it felt unfair. By the 10th, it felt cruel. Last year, I asked if they could sit upstairs, just for dessert. She smiled like she pitied me and said, "It's just better this way. They're loud. They don't know how to behave." I remember the way my husband looked at me that night. He didn't defend me. He just looked tired. I told myself I'd let it go, for the sake of peace, for the sake of the holiday. Then this year, my daughter, my oldest, asked me something that broke me. She said, "Mom, why does grandma like the cousins more than us?" I didn't know what to say. I wanted to lie. I wanted to tell her it wasn't true, but I couldn't. She already knew the answer. She could see it, feel it, the same way I did. I hugged her so tight that she laughed. But inside, I was done. I couldn't spend another Christmas teaching my kids that they were less. So when December 24th came, and my husband was still trying to convince his mom to be fair this year, I made a decision. At 2 in the afternoon, I opened my phone, went to the airline website, and bought 5 tickets to Cancun. My hands were shaking when I hit confirm. Not from guilt, from relief. When my mother-in-law called at 4, the table was probably already set. I could imagine it perfectly. White candles, red napkins, and a seat for everyone except us. She asked, "Where are you?" Her voice was sharp, like she already knew. I sent her a picture. My 3 kids laughing on the beach, holding melting ice cream cones. She texted back, "You ruined our Christmas." I stared at the message for a moment, then typed, "I didn't ruin anything. I just made sure my kids had a happy Christmas." And for the first time in 14 years, I actually meant it. The moment I hit send, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Quiet. No guilt, no shaking hands, no fake smile to survive another dinner that wasn't really for us. Just the sound of waves and my daughter's laugh echoing somewhere behind me. But the quiet didn't last long. My husband's phone started buzzing nonstop. His mother, his sister, even his uncle. Each call came with the same tone. Shock, outrage, judgment. He stared at the screen, then at me, like he couldn't decide if I'd lost my mind or finally found it. He didn't yell. He just said, "You could have told me." I looked at him and said, "I did. Every year." That shut him up for a moment. He sank into the lounge chair like someone who'd just realized the house was on fire, but too tired to run. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to explain. Everything had already been said in 1,000 small ways over the years. Every time his mom called me dramatic. Every time he said, "Just ignore it." Every time my kids came home quiet after a visit to her house. We stayed silent for a while. Then my son came running, sand covering his knees. "Mom, the water's so warm." I smiled.